Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Lash Sisters Uncensored. My name is Galina, and today we're going to dive deep into one of the most important aspects of growing your lash business. So, that subject is client retention. Because let's be honest, it's not just about getting clients in the door, it's really about keeping them and making sure that they come back and get those perfect lashes session after session. If you want to build a sustainable lash business and a loyal client base, this episode is for you. So let's get right into it. Before we get into it, though, I just want to mention that my name is Galina, and along with my sister, we have built 1,000 Lashes. One of our missions is that we love to support other lash artists by giving back with support and information and just making you guys feel less alone. Because let's be honest, the lash industry can feel a little bit isolating, especially if you're working in your space alone, and then you don't really have anyone to talk to and anyone to really share your experience with. All right, so let's get into this. So why client retention is so important. So before I dive into the tips, let's talk about why client retention matters. Now, it's no secret that actually acquiring new clients is definitely more expensive and time consuming than keeping your existing ones. And while it's always exciting to get a new client in the door, you get to speak with someone new, you get to do a new client's lashes, those repeat clients are really going to be the ones that are going to keep your business they're going to keep your business afloat. They're going to keep your business thriving. And studies show that loyal customers are likely to spend more over time, and they can also refer new clients to you because they already know you, like you, and trust you. So that means that it's super important to retain the clients that you already have without constantly needing to fill your schedule from scratch. Basically, a loyal client, if you think about it, it's like a marketing machine on its own. In marketing, this is a term that's called LTV, and it's lifetime. Sorry, lifetime customer value. LCV. Sorry, I'm getting confused. So basically what it means is how much every single client that you serve is worth to you over the course of a lifetime. And it doesn't mean your lifetime or the client's lifetime. It just means how long a typical client will stay with you. And so the more you're able to extend that period, the more money you're going to make. Each client that walks in the door for you, if they stay with you for 6 months and you charge $100, let's say, for a set. I know that's pretty low, but just to give you an idea, for simple math, each client is worth about $600. Now, if you are able to actually get them to spend more or to stay longer and to come more frequently, let's say, with lashes, it's not really in your best interest or the client's best interest to come more frequently. So what you can do instead is increase their customer value over time. And so if they end up spending, instead of $100, they end up spending $150 or $180, and you're able to keep them for a year, you're doubling that value, right, of that client. So instead of that client being worth $600, now that client is worth $1,000. So that makes a huge difference. Or that client might be worth $1,500 or more. So that's how we calculate this. And that's what you need to think about even when you do, let's say, advertisements. A lot of, when we coach lash artists, a lot of time they'll say like, no, I don't want to spend, $100 on Facebook ads to acquire new clients because that client is going to come in and they're only going to pay me $150. So I'm losing money. And although I can see where that comes from like a place of, fear and nervousness, and that's totally understandable. But the thing is, if you see it that way, it's going to be very, very difficult to acquire new clients, because ultimately, you need to spend some money to get those clients in, and you have to know what your lifetime customer value is. I got it finally. It's LCV. It's called LCV. And so if you know that, then you can very comfortably be able to spend, $100, $150, and lose some money on the front end, knowing that most of your clients your retention is good. You're able to have your clients come back. And so you're going to make money anyway at the end of the year. So it's just one of those things to keep in mind when you're thinking about how you're going to, retain those clients. Okay. Now, let's get into tip number 1. You want to set clear expectations from the start. So let's start. Basically, setting clear expectations is going to be so important. When a new client walks into your studio, make sure you have a consultation where you really discuss everything, from the types of lashes they want, to the maintenance they need to do, to the care required to keep the lashes looking fresh, so that they don't blame you after 2 weeks if their lashes all fall out, or they picked on their lashes, or they didn't wash their lashes, and now they're blaming you and saying that you're a bad lash artist. Also, having a clear conversation about how long their lashes should actually last, what aftercare is necessary, how often they're going to need to come back for refills. And this can really help prevent any misunderstandings. If you set realistic expectations, client won't be surprised when they need to come in for a refill every 2 to 3 weeks, and or longer. If your retention is amazing and your clients come back every 4 to 5 weeks, that's even better. But they still need to understand that lashes require care and maintenance. And just because, we do train a lot of lash artists, and I find this is a really important step that a lot of lash artists forget. They get so excited and nervous when they get a new client coming in, they forget to do all this education up front. But this makes a huge difference when it comes to the client really trusting you as a professional. And let's be honest, there's a lot of other lash artists that they can go to. But if you're the one that actually took the time to explain everything to them, to set the right expectations, even if they go see someone else and they get a mediocre experience, who do you think they're going to come back to? They're going to come back to you. And so this is where it's so important to give 110% of your time, your attention. And it's especially in those beginning appointments when you're really building trust with that client, and you're building that rapport, and you're building that relationship, so that they trust you. And once they trust you and they like you as a person, the likelihood of them going somewhere else is going to be very low. And even if they do, it's going to be very hard for them to get that same experience. And so that's how you retain your clients. Now that brings me to the second tip, which is to provide a top-notch service every single time. So always deliver the best service you can, okay? No matter what. It might sound obvious, but the consistency is where it's going to be at. Every time a client sits in your massage bed or your chair, they should get the same level of service and the same results, whether it's their first visit or it's their 10th visit. Obviously, you can't start slacking once you have gained your client's trust. You need to maintain the same level of service. They need to feel like they're getting a luxurious, personalized experience every single time. This basically means you want to pay attention to every detail, like using the best products, ensuring you have a very clean environment. One way you can do this is Show them how you remove the tweezers from a sterilized pouch, so that puts them at ease, that they feel like, okay, like this lash client really cares about my health and keeps everything sterile and keeps everything in perfect condition, and make sure that you have a relaxing experience. There's no like slamming doors everywhere, or like someone yelling in the background or talking really loudly. A client is more likely to return if they feel like you're consistently giving them the best possible outcome and making them feel really valued as a person, right? Because that's ultimately what they're going to pay for. And there's many ways that you can make that a part of the experience. Even if you're working from home, or you have a studio that's not like in the most luxurious location, you don't have the most luxurious space, ultimately it's going to be about the way you present yourself and the way that you treat your clients. Now, step number 4 is you're going to want to step number 3 is you're going to want to create a personal connection. So you want to build a personal rapport with your clients. People come back to a business where they feel like they don't feel like just a number. They don't feel like, you know how like when you go to one of those nail salons sometimes and it's just like chop, 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 like sit fast, we do your nails and out you go, and they kick you out basically like as soon as they're done, and you just feel like I don't know, you feel like you're part of like some machine situation. I remember going to a doctor when I used to live in El Centro before, and I remember every time I would go and see, it was like a family doctor practice, but I felt like I would go into like a factory, because I would come in and it would be like a medical assistant that would come in and just like ask a bunch of questions. Then I would have my blood pressure taken, or like whatever they needed to do, and then the doctor would just pop his head in and say like, hey, everything's fine, how are you doing, how are you feeling, any questions for me? And then if I ever had any questions, like by the time I had even finished my question, he would already be running out the door. So I mean, I'm sure like obviously they prioritized running their medical practice, as a factory to maximize profits and bill insurance. But the thing is, I just remember very distinctly that experience and feeling how I just felt like just a number. I felt like very yucky. Like they did what they had to do and they did everything within the rules, but they just did it very, just in a way that felt like very impersonal and just like made you feel kind of rushed out the door, made you feel like a number. And obviously, that's not the way that you want to make your clients feel. So you want to feel valued. Clients want to feel valued. They want to feel listened to, especially, a lot of times this is the only time that they have to come and be away from their problems, be away from whatever issues they're having in their life, like, at home, or, kids, or pickups, drop-offs, their husband asking them for a sandwich, or like, whatever the case may be. They want to be away from that, and they want it to be like a safe space. So if you make them feel rushed out the door, like as soon as their lashes are finished, or like they can't really feel comfortable and safe around you, the likelihood of them coming back to see you specifically is going to decrease, right? So it's important to think about all of these different aspects. They need to feel safe in your space. Again, it's not just about doing lashes. It's really about making them feel appreciated, making them feel heard, sharing a laugh. Maybe, if they share something with you about them, like, for example, their son is having a football game, in a few weeks, or their dog is sick, or, their sister just had a graduation. You want to write that down and ask them about that the next time they come, because again, that makes them feel like you and them have a personal connection, and people love that. They love to connect with you as a person, and that's the secret ingredient, is that they need to like you. Now, tip number 4 is going to be, you want to educate and empower your clients. So how are you going to do that? You're just going to do that very simply by giving them tips. They want to understand how to take care of their lashes so that they're more likely to have long-lasting results, which means they'll need fills less frequently, which means that they're going to trust you more than the lash artist, across the street. You want to give them the knowledge to maintain their lashes, whether it's through proper cleansing, avoiding certain oils, or just making sure they're not rubbing their eyes. You can tell them to wear the masks, where they have those masks that have like a dome shape. Those are really cool because they really allow your clients to sleep on their face or on their side if they need to. And it allows them to keep their lashes in tip-top shape. And most clients don't know about these little things, right? Because you think just because you're in the lash industry, you know all of this. Clients don't necessarily know all of that. And so, it's important to educate them. Now, another thing is that you really want to do, if you want to encourage your clients to keep coming back, is get them to book their next appointment ahead of time. Before they leave, you always want to make sure that they're booked for their next appointment. Because oftentimes life gets in the way, they forget, they forget, and now they're at their 4th week, they have 2 lashes left, and now they're thinking, I don't want to pay for a full set now, maybe I should just forget about it, I'll get lashes in a few months, and then a few months go by, and then they just kind of forget all about it, or they just never end up coming back. So that's why it's so important to get them to book their appointment before they even leave. Now, another tip that I have, which is tip number 5, is you want to create a loyalty program or a special offer. So this will incentivize your clients to return. So loyalty programs or special offers. If you want your clients to keep coming back, a little reward definitely goes a long way. So you might want to consider a program where clients earn points for every visit, or you can offer them discounts on their 5th or 10th refill. You can also host exclusive client events or packages for discounted prices where clients book multiple appointments in advance. So you get them to just book a package, right? So then once they have pre-booked, you give them, let's say 30%, or 30 is a lot, like maybe 15 or 20% off. So then they save money, but for you, it's already guaranteed income. Right? So I really love that. Another way to do this is package memberships. So like in our business, we have memberships, let's say for glues, so that clients that get our glue every month, like lash artists that buy our glue every month, they get it automatically delivered, and then it allows them to save a little bit of money, and it's great because then they don't forget to order the glue. So it's just kind of a win-win situation for everyone. And for us, it's great because I know exactly how many memberships I have. And so it's great because we know the exact amount of revenue we're going to get from those glues per month. So it's kind of like a guaranteed revenue, and I like that. And then also you want to make them feel special. You want to make them feel like that they made the right decision to choose you as their lash artist. Because remember, you shouldn't take it for granted. They can go see anyone else. There's plenty of lash artists out there. And the fact that they choose you, you should be really grateful and kind of reward them for that. I know when I go in to my massage place, they have these cards, and I always love the fact that they put a little stamp when I'm done, and I know that I'm getting closer to my free 60-minute massage that I'm going to get on I think it's my 8th appointment. So it just makes me feel like, oh, great, I'm getting closer to my free appointment, right? So it just makes clients feel really good, makes them feel like happy, and makes them feel like you value their business. Another tip that I have is you want to stay connected between appointments. So, staying connected between appointments is really important because just because your client left your studio does not mean the relationship has ended. You can use newsletters like emails. You can use text messages to stay in touch. You can share tips on like different promotions, or you can send them emails about like aftercare. Social media is obviously going to be a great place to show your work, share client testimonials, and give them behind the scenes into your world. It really helps if you show your face on social media, if you show, the behind the scenes and different things like that. It just makes your clients trust you so much more. Another thing that you can do, which I really love, and that was part of our system when we would have clients, and even now, every time a client leaves, within like 24 hours, I'll have our assistant text the client and ask how they're liking everything. Is everything great? Do they love their lashes? Do we need to fix anything? Because a lot of times clients will feel like kind of shy and uncomfortable to tell you that there's something they don't like. So they might just not say anything, but if it's something that really bothered them, they might not come back. This way you can really save getting that client back, because you know that, oh, they're gonna come back because I fixed their issue. So for example, one time we had a client that said, oh yeah, I was a little bit cold during the appointment because the lash artist had the AC on, and she didn't get a blanket, and she was a little bit uncomfortable, and she felt too shy to ask for a blanket. So what we did is just notify the lash artist next time she came for the appointment. She got a cozy blanket, and that just made all the difference for that client. It's the little things that make all the difference, really paying attention to detail, especially if you want to work with luxury, like clients that are premium, that pay premium prices. It's important to pay attention to detail. Now, tip number 7 is how you handle issues professionally. So this goes back to the point that I just spoke about. Sometimes things won't go as planned. Lashes will fall out prematurely. Your client might get lash retention issues. So the way you're going to handle these situations can either make or break client retention. If a client reaches out with an issue, you have to respond quickly, apologize if necessary, and offer a solution that works for both you and the client. Sometimes it's going to be a free touch-up or a discount on their next appointment. And it's funny because I see it in a lot of the Facebook groups. I'll see like, oh, my client, wanted a refund because all her lashes fell out, or a client texted and said that she doesn't like her lashes. What do I do? Should I offer a free refill? And ultimately, it's going to be your decision on how important that client is to you. The thing is, we're focusing on retaining clients, right? Especially because what we spoke about earlier, the cost of advertisement is increasing. It's expensive to get clients in. It's hard to get new clients to trust you. So if a client already trusted you with their lashes and now there's an issue, the best way to do this is to really make the client feel heard, make them feel appreciated, make them feel like their problem is important to you, and you're going to do your best to fix it. And so the likelihood of that client coming back is going to be much higher, right? Because they know that you care about them. If you're worried about spending that, extra hour to fix their lashes, let's say their lashes fell out or they didn't like the style that you did, and you are feeling insulted and defensive, and you feel like, oh no, like that means I'm a terrible lash artist, and you don't fix that issue, and the client is upset, they might, leave a bad review. And obviously, if you have a bad review, like that will deter so many more clients to come and see you. So you're going to lose so much more in that scenario. And not only that, but you could have potentially kept that client, and that client might be worth thousands of dollars to you down the line, right? Because that client ultimately is going to be worth so much more to you if you had just decided to keep that client and fix their issue, right? Now, there you go. You have 7 tips to keep your lash clients coming back for more. To recap, always set really clear expectations, provide top-notch service, build a personal connection, educate your clients, offer rewards, loyalty, and stay in touch with them, and always handle issues promptly. So by implementing these strategies, you're not only going to keep your clients happy, but you're also going to build a strong foundation for a successful and sustainable lash business. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you love this episode, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. It really helps us a lot just to get more episodes seen for other lash artists that might need this help. Also, you can share it with your other lash artists that might find this information useful. If you have any questions and want to reach out to us, feel free to hit us up on Instagram, leave a comment. And until next time, and keep lashing and keep shining.